I got a comment from Josh Pritchett about LEJ, Georgia, in Gilmer County. Here's what I uncovered. Today's story takes us to Gilmer County, Georgia, for tales of hidden Indian gold and lost silver mines. Gilmer County is the apple capital of Georgia and was created December 3rd, 1832, with the county seat being LEJ. Formed from parts of Cherokee County, Gilmer County has some 6 known gold mines in the area. Turkey Pen Gold Prospect, Whitaker Gold Prospect, White Path Quarry Gold Mine, and Holt Gold Prospect, all near Cherry Log, Georgia, and the Craddock Lucky 8 Gold Mine, and another unnamed gold mine near East LEJ, Georgia. Needless to say, man has been in search for the precious metal in the area for some time. The Native Americans were no different. Cherokee Indians, who first settled the land, were said to collect the shiny gold nuggets in pots. It was mostly used by the Indians to make jewelry, such as bracelets and warrior rings. When the settlers began finding gold in the area, they began to call for the removal of the Indians from the ancestral land to what was known as Indian Territory, in what is now Oklahoma. During the 1830s, all the Indians were rounded up and marched to the northwest along what has become known as the Trail of Tears. This was a forced march from their homeland to the interior of the country to an area even the settlers didn't want to stake claim. Taking only that which they could carry, the Indians chose to take the things they knew they would need: blankets, food, etc. Said everything else was left behind. Some Indians were said to have buried their valuables in hopes of returning someday to retrieve them. But for most, that day would never come. Many of those forced to make the march didn't make it. Many succumbed to starvation, exhaustion, and illness along the way. It's said that in some places, members of the tribe would cache their valuables together in clay pots hidden in dark caves. One such story claimed in the late 1800s, an Indian arrived and camped out by the junction of Old Scarecrow and Talking Rocks Creek in Gilmer County. The story said that after a few months camped out at the spot, a curious farmer in the area approached the Indian and they started to talk. Over some time, the farmer would come and visit the Indian, and they become friends. With some time, the Indian trusted the new friend with the real reason he was in the area. The Indian told him his ancestors had hidden a treasure of gold nuggets strewn upon the floor of an old cave in the area. He had been given the directions to the cave by his ancestors and had come to retrieve some of the gold. To prove the story, the Indian offered to show the farmer the hoard under one condition: that he must be blindfolded, and led to the location, to which the farmer agreed. The farmer was blindfolded, then led a short distance from the creeks to a cave somewhere in the area. The farmer's curiosity turned to astonishment once the blindfold was removed, as a pile of gold nuggets lay before him on the cave floor. The Indian telling him, "This is the treasure of my people." The farmer was then blindfolded and led back to the creek. Not long after showing the cache to the farmer, the Indian disappeared and never came back. The farmer, knowing the cave was close, searched for years, but was never able to find the cache the blindfold had concealed. There are many stories of Cherokees' hidden pots of gold in Gilmer County, with one supposedly buried on the highest hill near the creek just before the Indian eviction. An old Indian by the name of Trails told a story that he witnessed the pot of gold being buried by other Indians on the hill. During the removal of Indians from the area, Trails said he was able to avoid the soldiers and stay in the county where he'd lived out his life, on a little creek that now bears his name. Trails Creek is also thought to be the creek that rests at the foot of the tallest hill where the Indian treasure is said to be buried. With a little research and effort, it could be one lucky searcher's pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And if that's not enough treasure for you in one county, how about hunting for a lost silver mine? On the highest point of Fort Mountain in Gilmer County is an ancient 855-foot long man-made wall, thought to have been created by Indians for some type of ceremony or fortification. It's said a silver mine also existed in the area, and when the white man began removing the Indians from the land, the Indians took their treasures and sealed them in the mine, camouflaging its entrance. Today, Fort Mountain is part of the Georgia State Parks system, so be sure to check the rules and regulations of the park before you start a search. Another hidden Indian silver mine is reportedly located near Flat Creek and Coosawhattie River. Like the previous, Indians sealed and camouflaged the mine once the settlers began driving them from their lands. With so much history of violence, suffering, and subjugation, Gilmer County, once Cherokee County, is a treasure trove of things hidden, never to be recovered, or at least not by those who buried it. Maybe, with a little research and some legwork, you might be able to find one of these treasures from a time long forgotten. Good luck. Happy hunting. Keep on digging it. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Hit that notification button to follow me on YouTube. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you enjoyed. Good luck. Happy hunting. Keep on digging it. For even more to explore, check out these other videos.